maestro has been poisoned. And this is the first of a series. And just the views of Venice and all the islands that make up Venice, it's just, it's terrific. So if you want to go to Italy, here's your choice. And there's a number of mysteries. I don't think you have to read everything in order. I have a friend who insists that I do that, but I don't. So there's a choice, and we know who she is. We know who she is. The Thief Lord by Cornelia Funn. This is a children's book. Also, it's in translation. Venice is fabulous. Venice is a character. The children are running loose. It's sort of like a Oliver Twist. There's these orphan children who are running around Venice, thieves and protecting themselves and taking care of themselves because other people aren't. So The Thief Lord is a beautiful book for children that has Venice in it. Let's go to Greece, the convent. This is a wonderful mystery story. Excuse me. It's about an infant boy who's abandoned on the steps of a convent. The boy is quickly adopted by the Mother Superior, who runs the convent with a blend of intense devotion and heterodoxy. She has a painful secret in her past and believes the boy is a sign of God's infinite mercy. Her intense desire to keep the child at the convent rather than send him to the orphanage in town, which she should have done, increasingly pits her against the convent's other inhabitants, especially Sister Anna, an ambitious nun, much aggrieved by the perceived slights. When Anna finds a blood-stained cloth buried on the convent's grounds and becomes convinced that the convent was visited by evil, she sets herself to expelling the devil with grave consequences for all. The sense of slow burning doom, rendered in deceptively simple prose, culminates in a series of startling revelations. Even when the disclosure strains credibility, the novel's concern with the claims that the past makes on the present makes the emotional investment it asks for well worth it. So it's a really interesting book about Greece. Let's go to Africa. Infidel by, again, with my pronunciation, I believe it's Ayaan Hirsi Ali. This is not a fiction. Hirsi Ali remains public enemy #1 for radical Muslims. She refuses to be silenced. In this captivating memoir, an act of courage itself, she shares the evolution of her values, beliefs, and identity, all propelled by an urgent mission to educate Western countries about the bigotries of other nations. Set against the terrifying geopolitical landscape of African wars and Muslim fundamentalism, Hirsi Ali addresses timely topics: the plight of refugees and women, the Muslim clan system, forced marriage, political asylum, and perhaps most significantly, her own personal religious crisis. This is written in descriptive, clear prose. She is a radical feminist and highly critical of Islam. And she sort of offers a disturbing view of the modern world. And she has inspired every critic who has read this book. So it is a memoir. And you might have seen this woman. She's been on, I believe she was on The Daily Show, and they're talking about this. She's quite a force. And we got a couple of Egypt, Things Fall Apart. This is the winner, Chinua Achebe is the winner of the 2010 Gish Prize. This prize goes to artists who helped shape the cultural landscape with their artistic and philanthropic commitments. Things Fall Apart was first published in 1958, and it's this unsentimental rendering of Nigerian tribal life before and after the coming of colonialism. This is published 2 years before Nigeria declared independence from Great Britain. It sort of eschews the obvious temptation of depicting pre-colonial life as a kind of Eden. Instead, the author sketches a world in which violence, war, and suffering exist, but are balanced by a strong sense of tradition, ritual, and social coherence. His Igbo protagonist is a self-made man. He's the son of a charming ne'er-do-well, and he's worked all his life to overcome his father's weakness and has arrived finally at great prosperity and great reputation. And yet, he also has many, many flaws, and he's not a very nice man. It has a sense of Greek tragedy to this book, but it's again one of those very famous African novels. And then this takes us to South Africa. And Nadine Gordon, doesn't matter, just read one. Beethoven was 1/16 Black. This is a new collection of short stories. Nadine Gordon is a very feisty white South African who has been writing about apartheid since the 1950s and very much against apartheid. Many in South Africa did not and do not like her. But her works deal with themes of love, politics, particularly concerning race in South Africa, which was always and still is the big deal in South Africa. She's always questioning power, relations, and truth. She tells the stories of ordinary people, revealing moral ambiguities and choices. Her characterization is nuanced, revealed more through the choices her characters make than through their claimed identities and beliefs. She also weaves in subtle details within the characters' names. She's been writing for about 50 years now. And any one of her novels or short story, collection of short stories, I think you would find very interesting. But she does write about the difficulties of South Africa and the difficulties of apartheid. Oh my God, the government was spending all this time and money trying to promote this government. Which takes us to Spud, which is South Africa in 1990. And this is 2 years before Nelson Mandela is released. So we have Gordon, who's talking about South Africa and apartheid and all the issues going on there, and the rights of all people, the Africans, the colored, which are the Indians, the Asians, which they barely, acknowledged in the government of South Africa. But then we get to Spud. This is a YA, this is a teen novel for adolescents. This is a coming-of-age story. It's 1990. Nelson Mandela is about to be released, but more importantly, Spud Melton is now entering an elite boys-only private school. He's cursed with parents from well beyond the lunatic fringe. He's got a senile granny, a dormitory full of strange characters. Spud has his hands full trying to adapt to his new home. Surrounded by names such as Gecko, Rambo, Rain Man, and Mad Dog, Spud takes his first tentative steps along the path towards manhood. Armed with only his wits and his diary, Spud takes us from illegal night swimming to the cricket pitch, from ghost busting to a catastrophic family vacation. He also invites us into the mind of a boy struggling to come to terms with a strange new world, a boy whose eyes are being opened to love, friendship, and complete insanity. This is a book I hope to teach next semester, because I think it'll be out in paper. Somebody said that it was sort of like Catcher in the Rye, only funny and taking place in South Africa. So, Botswana, just a little north of South Africa. If you haven't read any of the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series by Alexander McCall, just do it. They're wonderful, trust me. There's a true sense of the cadence of the language and a small feel for the land. Even if this is written by a Scotsman, you still hear